Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline. The top stories. PM to seek party leaders' input on cabinet vacancies. And 18 Japanese and Chinese nationals charged over online fraud. Good morning. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said he will hold discussions with party leaders before finalising his list of names to fill current vacancies in the cabinet. Anwar said while the Prime Minister has the prerogative to choose his ministers, the views of all parties within the government will be taken into consideration before a decision is made. The Prime Minister previously said he would decide on the new appointments after a process of prudent consideration, fully based on the people's interests and the nation's reform agenda.
Dia ada kekosongan, jadi biar saya unding betul dia budi bicara atau wewenang Perdana Menteri untuk mohon perkenan Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Tetapi seperti biasa dalam proses demokrasi dan menghormati pandangan kawan-kawan, saya tentunya akan mendengar beberapa pandangan dari ketua-ketua parti, tetapi keputusan tamat saya akan ambil dalam masa terdekat.
Anwar was speaking to reporters after performing Friday prayers at the Cyberjaya 10 Mosque. The cabinet has 4 vacant posts in the economy, natural resources and environmental sustainability, entrepreneur development and cooperatives, and investment, trade and industry ministries. Second Finance Minister Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan has taken over the economy portfolio in the interim, while Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani is handling the portfolio of natural resources and environmental sustainability. And Works Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi is overseeing the entrepreneur development and cooperatives portfolio. Now, the Prime Minister has ordered the Inspector General of Police to conduct a full and transparent investigation into the fatal shooting of 3 men in Durian Tunggal, Melaka last month. Anwar said while criminals would not be protected under any circumstances, any action taken, including by police officers, must strictly follow the rule of law.
Kita tidak melindungi penjenayah, tetapi kita juga tidak melindungi tindakan-tindakan termasuk oleh polis, anggota polis yang bertentangan dengan proses negara hukum. Dan dalam tempoh yang dekat, saya minta Ketua Polis Negara menyampaikan laporan perinci terus.
The Prime Minister acknowledged the police's firm stance against criminals, but emphasised that any actions inconsistent with procedure must be thoroughly investigated.
Saya tidak campur dalam urusan bagaimana harus dilaksanakan, tetapi saya juga gusar sekiranya dianggap beberapa peraturan tidak dipatuhi.
On November 24th, Melaka police reported that 3 suspected serial robbers, aged 24 to 29, were shot dead after one of them allegedly swung a machete at an officer during an incident at an oil palm plantation in Durian Tunggal. The suspects' families have challenged the account and have filed several allegations against the police through their lawyers. On Thursday, Bukit Aman's Criminal Investigation Department Director, Dato' M. Kumar, said a special team had been set up to investigate the claims made by the families. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Ismail said the Royal Malaysia Police has acquired over 7,000 body cameras to ensure accountability in every assignment carried out by its officers.
Lebih 7,000 unit body worn camera atau BWC diperolehi untuk meningkatkan kepercayaan awam, memperkukuhkan tabir urus yang baik serta meningkatkan accountability dalam setiap penugasan JPJ-KK.
Muhammad Khalid said this in his speech at a monthly gathering in Bukit Aman on Friday. He also said that the Crime Prevention and Community Safety Department has received more than 1,600 patrol vehicles for rapid response operations, as well as over 1,000 stun guns to enhance officer safety. 14 Japanese nationals and 4 Chinese nationals were charged in the Bukit Mertaja Magistrates Court for their alleged involvement in an online fraud operation. All 18 individuals pleaded not guilty. The suspects, aged between 24 and 42, are accused of conspiring to commit online fraud. The charges were framed under Section 120 of the Penal Code, read together with Section 34, which carries a potential sentence of up to 10 years in prison, whipping and a fine upon conviction. The offences reportedly took place at a house in Taman Bukit Juru on November 20th. The court set bail at 8,000 ringgit each with one local surety and ordered the 18 accused to surrender their passports pending the conclusion of the case. The group, who reportedly worked as cleaners, drivers, restaurant workers and painters, will return to court on February 3rd for remention of the case. According to Pulau Pinang Police, the arrests were part of an operation that crippled a fraud syndicate targeting victims in Japan following raids on 2 bungalows. The case underscores increasing concerns over cross-border online fraud networks and highlights Malaysian authorities' ongoing efforts to tackle digital financial crimes. Former senior political secretary to the Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Shamsul Iskandar Muhammad Akin, and controversial businessman Albert Day were charged in the Shah Alam Sessions Court on Friday with corruption involving more than 64,000 ringgit. Both pleaded not guilty when the charges were read separately before Judge Datuk Muhammad Nasir Nordin. Shamsul arrived at the court complex at about 8:10 a.m. He's accused of receiving money from Tay, allegedly meant to cover rent payments for a residence in Bukit Bandaraya. The money is alleged to have been given as an inducement to help a company linked to Tay secure approval for a mineral exploration license in Sabah. Tay, in the corresponding charge, is accused of giving the cash bribe to Shamsul. The offences allegedly took place between November 28, 2023 and September 23, 2024 in Kajang, Selangor. The court set bail at 150,000 ringgit for Shamsul, while bail was set at 70,000 ringgit for Tay. The judge ordered for the case to be transferred to the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court, where both men are already facing 4 other corruption charges amounting to more than 176,000 ringgit. Mention has been set for January 8th. The Cabinet has decided that the motion to suspend Opposition Chief Whip Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan from Parliament will be referred to the Parliamentary Committee on Rights and Privileges for further review. In line with the decision, the motion tabled in the Dewan Rakyat will be adjusted to allow the matter to be formally referred to the committee. According to a statement by Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, the decision was made in accordance with the Dewan Rakyat standing orders. This is also to ensure the Member of Parliament is given the opportunity to be heard by the Rights and Privileges Committee and to allow the committee to make any findings it deems necessary. On Thursday, the Dewan Rakyat was informed that the motion to suspend Taqiyuddin from parliamentary sittings for 6 months had been put on hold. The suspension was sought following the Kota Baru MP's remarks linking a Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency training exercise to the 1985 Mamali incident, which were deemed to have tarnished the agency's image.
It doesn't look good at all.
The remains of Sabah Barisan Nasional Chairman Datuk Seri Bung Mokhtar Radin were laid to rest at the Kampung Likas Muslim Cemetery in Kota Kinabalu after Friday prayers. The 66-year-old Kinabatangan Member of Parliament passed away at a private hospital at 1:46 a.m. the same day after suffering kidney failure and a lung infection. Earlier, in addition to family members, relatives and friends, Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Haji Noor also visited Bung Mokhtar's residence in Luyang and paid his respects to the late former Sabah Deputy Chief Minister, who is also the Lamag Assemblyman. At 10 a.m., the body was taken to Masjid Bandaraya for ritual cleansing and funeral prayers. Bung Mokhtar's remains were then placed in the prayer hall to allow the public to pay their final respects before the burial. Among those present were the Yang di-Pertua Negeri of Sabah, Tun Musa Aman, Deputy Prime Minister and BN Chairman Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, BN Deputy Chairman Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan and UMNO Vice President Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, as well as other Sabah leaders. The body was taken to the cemetery at 1:45 p.m. and was laid to rest at 2:25 p.m. The funeral was also attended by thousands of people from various communities and faiths. In the 17th Sabah state election, which concluded last Saturday, Bung Mokhtar defended the Lamag seat with a slim majority of 153 votes in a six-cornered contest. He is survived by his wife, Datin Sri Nur Asidah Alimuddin, his second wife, Datin Sri Zizi Izzat Abdul Samad, and 7 children. Meanwhile, the passing of the late Bung Mokhtar has been described as a significant loss to Sabah and the nation. In a social media post, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim paid tribute to the veteran Sabah politician, highlighting his unwavering dedication, particularly to the state and to Malaysia. Anwar also extended his condolences to Bung Mokhtar's family, recalling him as a long-time friend, as well as a principled and steadfast leader who was outspoken in championing the interests of the people. Anwar's deputy Zahid, who is also UMNO president, said he was deeply saddened by the passing of the Sabah UMNO chief, describing him not only as a friend but also as a driving force behind the party's resurgence in the state.
Kami kehilangan beliau yang amat sangat. Saya meminta agar keluarga beliau tenang, redha dan menerima qada dan qadar daripada Allah Ta'ala.
For Johari, who also serves as Plantation and Commodities Minister, the late Bung Mokhtar was a steadfast leader whose loyalty to UMNO, particularly in Sabah, remained unwavering throughout his political career.
Dia tidak pernah lari mana-mana. Sama ada Barisan Nasional UMNO kuat atau tak kuat, dia tetap bersama parti. Itu menunjukkan keikhlasan dia dalam perjuangan. Dia tidak kira dan tidak menilai sama ada kuasa atau tak ada kuasa. Sama ada kuat atau lemah, dia tetap dalam perjuangan.
Hajiji also expressed his condolences to the late Bung Mokhtar's family, praising him as a dedicated leader who made lasting contributions to the state, particularly within his constituency.
Jadi saya amat sedih dan menzahirkan rasa simpati dan takziah daripada saya dan keluarga saya beserta kerajaan.
Nearly 90% of companies granted salary increases to their employees in 2025. Malaysian Employers Federation MEF President Datuk Syed Hussein Syed Husman said executives received an average salary hike of 5.03%, while non-executive employees saw an increase of 4.65%.
Performance continues to be the dominant factor. In executives, performance accounts for 89.4%, capacity to pay 66.2%, annual salary review practices 58.3%. For
Syed Hussein added that employers also consider factors such as market competitiveness, profitability and productivity when reviewing pay structures. Bonuses remain a common practice, with more than 80% of companies providing them this year. For 2026, companies anticipate bonus levels will remain stable at 2.16% for executives and slightly higher at 2.20% for non-executives. Meanwhile, MEF revealed a growing trend among employers, opting to bear their employees' medical benefit costs directly without insurance coverage. MEF advisor Datuk Shamsuddin Bardan said rising insurance premiums have forced some employers to scale back coverage or implement cost-sharing arrangements.
Some of the companies actually, they say, forget about taking insurance, because some of them say that the cost of premium is in fact higher than what they had actually collected from the insurance. So they decided to end the insurance and bear their own costs. Yeah? They say the money that I pay to the insurance company, myself I put in my investment, and we can earn money from there, and we manage our own costs.
Shamsuddin noted that the surge in insurance premiums has raised concerns among employers, as many are unable to absorb the cost independently in the long term. As a result, many companies are now reviewing their existing medical benefit packages offered to employees. Malaysia is projected to face a medical inflation rate of up to 16% in 2026, among the highest in Asia. ChatGPT maker OpenAI and an Australian data centre operator have agreed to develop a multi-billion-dollar artificial intelligence centre in Sydney. Brisbane-based NextDC said on Friday that it had signed a memorandum of understanding with OpenAI to develop an AI campus and a supercluster of graphics processing units. The company added that the two firms will collaborate on planning, developing and operating the AI infrastructure partnership in Western Sydney. Australia's government said the $4.6 billion development would create thousands of direct and indirect jobs during its construction and ongoing technical, manufacturing, engineering and operational roles. HIV-positive spa owner pleads guilty to putting others at risk. This and more from the local front after this breather.
Belajar kini lebih semangat dengan TV Tuition. Lebih 5,000 video pembelajaran, lebih 100 hos hebat, terdiri daripada selebriti dan guru berpengalaman. Ulang kaji jadi lebih seronok dengan lebih 10,000 soalan latihan serta ulasan guru yang membantu anda faham dengan cepat dan mudah. Apa tunggu lagi? Langgan sekarang dan stream ditonton. TV Tuition, belajar ditonton, bijak sampai lulus.
Keindahan alam nan permai, jauh dari hiruk pikuk kota. Tradisi yang diwarisi, disantuni dengan penuh kesyukuran. Inilah kisah kampung yang kini terpilih, didendangkan demi manfaat bersama.
Success, relationship status. Why does society still measure women's worth in the same old ways?
What they say is not necessarily true, but what you tell yourself, that is true. So believe in yourself.
Try not to care so much. Try not
Let
to
go.
seek for validation so much. You know, you've got to trust yourself.
Catch Women Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3. Stream now on Tonton.
Keadaan anak ketika kemalangan tu, kalau dengar pun memang tak sanggup lah. Kita memang dalam keadaan sedih sebab keadaan anak yang orang kata macam 50-50 lah. Dengan dia tumpah darah sebanyak 8 liter tu. Kesan daripada efek dia accident tu, dia jadi macam down sikit lah. Macam cakap dia tak boleh dah macam nak bersukan yang seperti biasa dia. Sebelum ni main bola kan.
Welcome back. 7 men were charged in the Bukit Mertaja Magistrates Court on Friday for offences linked to the health centre in Pulau Pinang that was raided for allegedly hosting homosexual activities. The spa owner, who is HIV positive, was fined 8,000 ringgit by Magistrate Roshayati Radela after he pleaded guilty to 2 charges of putting others at risk of infection. 57-year-old Kor Yik Kian was accused of exposing others to the risk of HIV at Unique 2 Recreation Centre on Jalan Perai Jaya 4 in Perai on November 29th. He also pleaded guilty to possessing images and videos deemed obscene on his mobile phone. The magistrate also ordered Kor to serve between 8 and 10 months in prison if he fails to pay the fines. In separate proceedings before the same court, 6 other men were charged with possessing pornographic materials on their mobile phones at the same location, date and time, with 3 of them also claiming trial to committing gross indecency against Kor and another individual aged 58 at the spa. The 7 individuals were among 13 people arrested during a police raid at the spa, allegedly used as a venue for same-sex activities on November 29th. In Kedah, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC arrested a Perikatan Nasional Member of Parliament on Thursday over alleged bribery linked to a state-owned cattle feedlot project. According to a source, the investigation, which began in February, focuses on allegations that the MP received around 400,000 ringgit in exchange for facilitating land use approval for the feedlot project. So far, the MACC has recorded statements from 15 witnesses. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed the arrest, adding that the MP's statement has been taken and the individual has since been released on bail. Kedah Bersatu Chairman Datuk Muhammad Suhaimi Abdullah said he has yet to receive detailed information on the case and that the party will review the matter. A former policeman dismissed from service in 2015 over multiple disciplinary issues was among 6 men arrested in a major drug bust that uncovered a syndicate using the basement car park of a supermarket in Petaling Jaya, Selangor as a hub for drug transactions. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said 17 sacks containing 273 kilograms of shabu and 6 sacks containing 101 kilograms of ketamine, all estimated to be worth 13.8 million ringgit, were also seized during the operation. The suspects, aged between 26 and 46, were detained during 2 coordinated raids in the Klang Valley and Simpang Pulai, Perak on Monday. One of the suspects acted as a runner, another as a sweeper, while the rest were transporters. The syndicate, believed to have been active since mid-2025, used the supermarket's basement car park as a transaction point with the drugs intended for the local market. Assets worth 140,000 ringgit were also seized, including 3 vehicles. Each suspect had a prior criminal record relating to drugs and other offences. 2 of them tested positive for drugs. All 6 have been remanded for 7 days until this Monday. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. In Perak, a fire razed a used tyre recycling factory in Simpang Pulai on Friday. The blaze started at around 11 a.m. with firefighting operations still ongoing. The fire broke out at a factory in the Tungzan industrial area, Kampung Kepayang. According to an eyewitness, a loud explosion was heard before the flames spread rapidly. The firefighting operation involved over 60 personnel from the Simpang Pulai, Ipoh, Pasir Putih, Meru Raya and Gopeng fire stations, assisted by 2 volunteer fire brigades. The firefighters' quick action prevented the fire from spreading to nearby factories, with efforts focused on several recycled oil storage tanks. No casualties have been reported so far. Trump cuts migrant work permit validity. The details when Nightline returns.
Fan nombor 1, itu memang kamu. Jangan tunggu. Vote laju-laju. Undi calon top 10, 37. Kita bagi kecoh. Nombor 1, bintang paling popular. You are the one. Kita tentukan. ABPBH 37. Satu keunggulan. Memang tiada lawan. Joe. Undi straight sampai 9 Disember. Scan the QR. Cepat undi-undi. Benda free. Tak payah banyak bunyi. Tak cukup. Kita ganda lagi.
Keindahan alam nan permai, jauh dari hiruk pikuk kota. Tradisi yang diwarisi, disantuni dengan penuh kesyukuran. Inilah kisah kampung yang kini terpilih, didendangkan demi manfaat bersama.
Success, relationship status. Why does society still measure women's worth in the same old ways?
What they say is not necessarily true, but what you tell yourself, that is true. So believe in yourself.
Try not to care so much. Try not
Let
to
go.
seek for validation so much. You know, you've got to trust yourself.
Catch Women Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3. Stream now on Tonton.
Wanita penuh tempo, penuh cerita. Inilah Nona, inspirasi bertemu realiti. Setiap warna mempunyai keupayaan membangkitkan pelbagai mood dan emosi. Semoga istirahat anda memberi makna yang indah walau tempohnya hanya seketika. Dan terus setia sejam bersama kami kerana Nona, inspirasi wanita untuk semua. Nona di TV3 dan stream ditonton.
Welcome back. News from the foreign front. Indonesia's military on Friday stepped up relief operations in 3 Sumatra provinces hit by deadly floods and landslides. Major General Freddy Ardianza said the military has installed at least 10 portable bridges in Aceh, North Sumatra and West Sumatra to aid the distribution of food and supplies to isolated residents. He added that mobile reverse osmosis systems which purify polluted water are also being deployed and that the military will continue airdropping food and medicine to communities still cut off from road access. Indonesia's death toll from last week's severe floods and landslides rose to 867 on Friday afternoon, with 521 people still reported missing. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday reduced the validity of work permits for refugees, asylum seekers and other migrants from 5 years to 18 months. The move took place just 2 days after it halted immigration applications for citizens from 19 nations. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph Adlow said the move followed last week's shooting in Washington, in which 2 National Guard members were allegedly shot by an Afghan man admitted to the U.S. through a resettlement program after the 2021 military withdrawal. The work permit move will apply to migrants admitted as refugees, migrants granted asylum, and those whose deportation has been put on hold. TikTok announced on Friday that it will comply with Australia's upcoming ban on users under 16 joining social media, but warned that the changes could be upsetting. Under the new law, TikTok will prevent under 16s in Australia from creating or maintaining accounts once it takes effect. The social media giant, however, said youngsters who have been blocked can submit an appeal to verify their age using methods such as facial images, credit card verification, or official ID. Australia's world-first legislation will come into effect on December 10th, restricting access to major social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. A diamond-studded locket swallowed by a New Zealand man during an attempted theft has now been recovered. The Fabergé egg locket, valued at $19,300 was recovered in a natural manner. According to the jeweler's website, the ingested loot is set with 60 white diamonds and 15 blue sapphires and opens to reveal an 18-carat gold miniature octopus. This comes about a week after police arrested the 32-year-old man at Patridge Jewelers in central Auckland minutes after he allegedly ate the locket. The man has been charged with theft. Sports now. Football, the Super League. Only one match took place on Friday night. Kuching City FC was forced to settle for a 1-1 draw against Terengganu FC. At the Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium, the clash between the two teams in the top half of the standings started off fast-paced, with both sides trading attacks in the first half. However, the visitors pulled ahead late in the first half as Petrus Chitembi netted a goal to send the Cats into the break with the lead. Despite falling behind, the home team's fighting spirit did not falter, pushing hard to find an equaliser. After enduring a disallowed goal and a red card controversy, substitute Engku Shakir Engku Yaakob struck in the 94th minute, forcing both teams to share the spoils. The result leaves Kuching City in third place, while Terengganu remains fifth. Turning to bowling, the 2025 IBF World Championships. The national women's team took home silver after a narrow 1-2 loss to the United States in a thrilling final in Hong Kong on Friday. Malaysia's team, comprising Sin Lee Jane, Gillian Lim, Natasha Roslan, Nora Liana Nastasia, Nur Kamal, Adelia Nur Irwan Shazali and Siti Safia Amira Abdurrahman, got off to a strong start with a 191-179 win in the opening game. However, Julia Bond, Brianna Coate, Shannon Pluhowski, Lauren Russo and Gillian Martin bounced back to win the next two games, 200, 159 and 199, 185. Earlier, the Malaysians defeated Japan 2-0 in the semi-finals, winning 204, 117 and 198, 145. The team silver also confirmed Malaysia's bronze in the women's all events with 273.29 points. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we go, let's take a look at South Korea's capital, Seoul, and its frost-covered roads and buildings cloaked under the city's first snowfall of the season. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.